Hello, Internet. Welcome to a slightly different bit of Space Engineers. This is a shakedown stream, one of the many I've done. My main goal today is to try and determine for sure if I can actually stream and record Space Engineers. I've been trying quite hard, maybe not, but mediumly hard to try and get it so I can, show a good quality video and have a good quality stream and have it all work. Just by nature, I think the stream is going to be a little bit lower quality. It's just how it tends to go. So, at the moment, there's a lot going through my head. At the moment, I am watching myself on Twitch on one monitor. I have all my various controls and monitoring systems for the stream and OBS in general shrunk into the various corners of the world so that I can see my own beautiful non-existent mug. In fact, is there a way? Okay, I'm not talking to myself. That's good. I guess I am technically, but I made it full screen. So that's kind of the meta purpose of this stream, is I'm gonna see, it may be, this stream may restart a couple times. I may kind of, tweak some things here and there. The quality might change. I've currently got it set up to record the actual video footage that I edit down and put on YouTube later. I have that set to record off my GPU. My CPU I have doing the actual stream. So, we'll see how that works. The sort of non-meta actual story of the stream, what I'm going to be kind of doing in the background, and hopefully foreground if everything works, I'm going to be playing, let me hit the button, Space Engineers, and we are going to be going to Mars. So, I've set myself a little challenge, mainly just to kind of, test stuff. I have to actually double click it, there we go. Little challenge, my goal is I'm going to start on Earth. I'm going to be building, in a survival world, I'm going to build myself a rocket with the capability to get me to Mars, trying to land on Mars and survive. We'll see when we get in here. I've created myself a little launch pad area to start from, and I will be in creative mode, my character, so that I don't have to gather resources and stuff. I can just design a rocket and fly it, but the world itself is survival, so I'll have to worry about fuel, have to worry about weight and how much I can send up. It's probably going to be fun. We'll experiment, try some things out, make something that'll hopefully look kind of cool, work kind of well, and generally be funny to watch. But, yeah. Okay. Whoa. Come on. So I am in. As you can see. It is weird for me because the stream is a couple seconds behind what's actually happening. So I was about to say, okay, I'm in, waiting for the stream to catch up. Then I realized, well, that's not going to work because the stream is me telling you all I'm in when I'm in, Time is funny for me. But time's always kind of funny for me. So here I am, my little place. What I'm gonna do Okay, I'm watching the stream. It does get a little pixelaty, but it's not horrible. And more importantly, my numbers on the monitor are beautiful right now. We have lost no frames at all, which I guess isn't all that exciting to most people who do this, but for me, running Space Engineers, it's a first. So, that's good. I was hoping, this is kind of the first time I've tested the changes I made to my recording setup. Like, fully tested. I recorded a video, mainly to make sure the GPU could run Space Engineers and record a video. And that worked fine. So, this is kind of just adding the streaming aspect in and see if anything gets hung up. But, yeah. So, go ahead and walk along this. I think I'm going to avoid giving a tour of where I am. We'll just kind of see it as background. But, go ahead and open this up. This world might end up being released to the workshop at some point. Oh, in fact, actually. Real quick. Don't save changes. Control F4. As I said that, I realized, oh, if I'm walking around and building things in this world, it'll become more difficult to release to the workshop. So let me just... Oh, come on. Let me create a little backup. That way I can release the, kind of as I first spawn in, unedited one for you in the future to play with and enjoy. And I have this one to blow myself up in. So, I guess there wasn't much need to switch to logo screen. It's not like I was showing anything other than just the main menu of the game. But, you know, it's something to do. I have the fun little button, so I might as well use it. So, go in. Oh, and one thing. This might... Okay, no. I never know if Alt-Tab will, like, shrink the screen down, or if it'll let me just move my mouse. It's always a mystery. I'm gonna real quick go ahead and update the stream info. Click back in. Because I still had no back seating enabled, which I'm still not going to, you know, you can suggest things in the chat. I may or may not do them, but I'd still withhold the power to ignore. But I think I'm suspending my general, you know, I'll happily just talk to the chat whenever the chat wants to talk, if the chat wants to talk. We'll see if when it actually happens, if I frantically panic, which is the general case, but for now, that's kind of where we are. This is a little bit more, you know, it's a testing stream, shakedown stream, so it's a little bit more chill. So we'll go ahead back to where we were. Head on out of our little hangar. So, oh, and one thing I should test. Nope. Alt F10. Okay, yeah, creative mode tools still on. I am not invulnerable, so I believe if yes, I can be dead. That's important because, ooh, there was some with rapid movement. There is some stuttering still. I may see if I can up. So, sorry, too many things at once. So that, our first test of the day, I can die. Which means, when I'm in the rocket, we will have the chance to witness magical explosive deaths if things go wrong. So that's handy. Head out over here. I don't think I had, you know. We'll get rid of them just so they go away. I don't need tools. So the other side, on the streaming side, I'm going to real quick tab over. Let's see. Settings. I'm gonna see, since I'm not using my CPU for both for the video recording and streaming, since they're running as separate things, I'm gonna see what happens if I adjust settings on the stream. See how far I can push that. Since in theory, I should have more overhead, because it's basically what it was doing before was doing the video twice. One saved as a .mkv file and one sent to Twitch. So now that they're running on separate hardware, I should be able to do some things different. Okay. So I'm back in, wiggling myself around. Let's just do some flight. Look away. Look away. This is going to be sickening, motion-inducing badness. But now that it's done, I can watch and see what it looks like. Okay. And that does look a wee bit better. That's boosted up to 3000 kilobits per second. Kilobits per second. Whatever those are, I forget. Okay. I'm gonna try something else. This is, again, a fun meta episode. You get to see into my brain. Let's see if I lower it down. Let the encoding run a little bit slower. But hopefully a little bit better. Whoop-de-doo, look at me changing the scene. Hang on, everybody, I should have told you this beforehand. Because it's about to get not very pleasant. Okay. That looks, I mean, there's a bit of video degradation as I flip about, but that's pretty normal. Stream, everything is looking pretty solid. I'm not seeing any big red numbers pop up. If I touch my computer, oh, actually it's warmer than I thought it would be, but I legitimately just touched the case and it was like, ooh, that's like, you know, not hot, but it's not cold either. So that's fun. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me try one thing. Let's see. Let's push this to the limits. Let's go maximum power. As in the third tick from, yeah, third highest of, I think, 7? Yeah, third of 8 highest quality settings. Let's see what this does. Okay, hang on. I'm spinning my head currently. Really, frankly, for this whole section, if you're squeamish, really should have just been not watching the video. Just podcast it. Because, yeah. Okay. So that, let's take off and do a little spinny swim. Change some, oh, try not to smack myself into anything while I change the scenery. Still a little bit of rectangles showing up. But honestly, I think it should be decently fine. Video quality, we've not really had any issues in terms of, actually, well, I say that, we've not had any issues. Maybe we do push it to maximum. Oh, one thing I should do, as I basically benchmark what my computer can handle. Let me switch to that. Yeah. Oh, dang it. My main monitor currently has Space Engineers on it. So, I'm just going to pull up my system monitor just to make sure, you know, I don't have any big flashing warnings there. But yeah. So it looks like GPU's been peaking at about 85 degrees, which is probably something. CPU is about 50, which is not bad at all. Yeah. Okay. Let's go balls to the wall. By that I mean tennis balls, putting them on the wall because it's harder to do because of gravity. This is a family-friendly stream. No one report me. Okay. We have gone up to... What was it? We've gone from ultra fast all the way to faster, which, despite how words normally work, that is actually, faster is actually, I'm slowing that down, the encoder preset, which means higher quality at the cost of it being slower. So, I hope that makes something sense. In fact, you know what? I'm feeling wild today. We're going to fast. Okay. Let's see what happens. Computer monitor up. Yeah. Look at those numbers going up. That's all coming straight to you. Okay, back to the scene. And now, without further ado, prepare for mad flips. Whoop-dee. Whoop. Oh, I hit the ground. I almost made myself sick. Okay. It's horrible to watch, just because of all the flipping. But not horrible. I mean, everything's handling it fine. And honestly, I think I'm not seeing a amazingly increased stream quality, but that could just be I've hit the maximum somewhere else. So I'm thinking that works fine, for now at least. Still a little bit. I don't know all these fancy, streaming people terms. I assume what's happening is I guess that's something to do with bit rate. As I move about, when everything gets kind of pixelaty, that's because it's sending more data than the bitrate can handle, and so it basically has to shrink things down a bit and show stuff. So it could just be that I'm maxing out what my internet can handle or something else. But I think that's looking good enough. If I'm gentle, the quality's not so atrocious, you can at least see what's happening. So yeah, I think that is mission 1, success. I now know how to stream. So now it's time for the meat of this stream. As I said earlier, we need to get to Mars. Now, the first challenge, I don't think that's it. That might be it. I don't know. I don't know where Mars is. So, my plan at the moment is build a rocket that can get me off Earth, get up into space, and then look for Mars. Because from up in space, it should, at the very least, I'll be able to see color better. So, we'll go over here to my lovely rocket launching pad and think about how to continue. So, one thing I should mention too, this is not just vanilla, fully vanilla Space Engineers that I'm doing this in. I added the aerodynamics mod. So, if you look in, I believe, the upper left-hand corner as I rocket off at this tree. There we go. I have a little box over there that says heat. Yeah, that's fine. What the aerodynamics mod does is, it basically adds aerodynamic drag to the world. So, sorry, suppressing burps. I'm really not good at speaking for long periods of time. What the aerodynamics mod does, it adds aerodynamic drag. So as I go here, well, I'm very small, because the player character's weird. So I can actually go quite fast, to the point that now I'm burning to death, and now I'm dead. That same thing will happen with ships. If you go too fast, you'll basically start to burn up. The blocks your ship is made of will start to break, and if you go too fast, you explode. I think I also turned on the exploding hydrogen tanks just to make it more funny, but yeah. That's the gist of it, and kind of the extra part of this challenge, because frankly, if the goal was just go to Mars, it takes time, but it's not very difficult. I could literally, like, in vanilla Space Engineers, I could just strap a thruster onto a couple oxygen tanks with a control seat, make sure everything's filled up first, but it's basically just a matter of go and do it. This will add a little bit extra challenge of I have to think about getting through Earth's atmosphere to leave, and getting into the Martian atmosphere and not burning up on my way down so I can land. So that's kind of the challenge we're in. What I'm going to do here real quick, to start things off, let's use the same color as that, at least for this. So, I've got my little tower, my launch tower, with the little connectors. What I'm gonna do, okay, connector there, that's through here. Gonna put a merge block, and a merge block. And a connector. So, oh, adding to the list of mods, a couple of the fancy housekeeping ones, namely build vision, and I think maybe the color replacer. I don't know if I'll need that. But build vision is super handy, just because it lets you, instead of having to, which on this I may... Okay, so on a connector it's not that big a deal. But, say for this merge block. If I want to go into this merge block and unmerge it, I can hit off. These are now two separate things. On, now they're merged again. And I can do all that without having to go into the terminal. You just go up to the block, hit Control, and middle mouse. Super handy. It comes in a lot of use with wheeled vehicles, or just, I mean, it's just really handy to have out and about so you don't have to go into menus all the time and, you know, hunt down blocks, adjust them, and then, you know, maybe go all the way back out to deal with them again. So, super handy that. Anyway, what this whole little rig is for, now I can build off this, and it'll be piped up to the base, have power off the base, and be ready to go. So, and one thing too, you may notice I'm building in large grid, at least for here, which any seasoned space engineers players might think, well, if you're just building a quick little rocket, why are you building it big? My main reason is I need to be able to fit a jump drive on this thing. Because if we're being frank, I don't want to try and rocket all the way to Mars. That's not going to be fun at all. Turn you off for now. So, let's just go ahead and position this. Where is... No, actually, this'll work. See, another handy thing of this, I can easily see what I'm doing. I'm right there. How you know? Push. Push. What's happened? Nope, wrong button. What if I remove that? There we go. I guess maybe the, it was somehow clipping against this block in a way that, like, didn't let it move. That was weird. Anyway, go ahead and position this kind of over the middle of the blast hole. Not for any real reason other than it's cool and I built the blast hole, so. Okay. Beautiful. Quick drink of water as it becomes increasingly hotter and hotter in my home. And yeah. Okay. So that's 2 tanks of hydrogen, 1 hydrogen thruster, which we're going to turn off. How much? So, oh, these are like dead empty. Oh. So that's filling. Okay, so the 3 base tanks are filling. Do I have any ice in these?
Fuel critical.
Oh, I do. Okay. So those are filling, it's just going to take a while. 4.8K, 4.8K, 4.25K. Okay, so they're filling off this one. Aren't they? Why are you blue? Mysterious. Is this in blue? Oh, it is. Maybe that just means they have ice in them. Oh, well, no, that's gone down now. Okay, so they're all going, it just takes a while. No ice in there. Here. Just speed that up. Because again, the world itself is, survival. Dang it. The world itself is survival, but I'm in creative, so I don't have to gather all the junk. And part of that, I don't want to have to gather all the ice. I just want the dynamic of running out of fuel. So, let's just go ahead and Shift F10 to pull up our spawny dialog. Ice. Let's add a bunch of zeros. Strike that. Let's add a bunch of 9s. And spawn into target container maybe a couple times. Okay. So that should be... yeah. These all should have ice in and be filling. And what I may do... let's go ahead and set these... set both of these to stockpile for now. That way all the hydrogen from the base comes into them. And then we're good there. So this will probably be my main stage. That's one thing I'll need to consider. I don't know if I want to do multiple stages or if it would be better to just have one big honkin' rocket go all the way. Because there's not a huge value in space engineers. I mean, I guess the main value is shedding weight. But there's a good chance this much hydrogen with 2 full tanks, that'll probably get me there. Like just on hydrogen alone, and let me be able to land. So I think, at least initially here, we'll go with one stage. And part of it, too, you know, feels like a bit of a cop-out, but Earth has more gravity than Mars, so if I can leave Earth, I don't need to lose weight once I get to Mars. So, go ahead and stick that there. That will need... ooh. Now, how do I want to do... so, I'll need definitely the jump drive to get us closer to Mars. Actually, that is a point. Okay. I'm changing my mind. So, with a jump drive, mass affects how far you can jump. So, if I want to be able to jump at my maximum distance, ideally I have just what I need to jump. So, what I may do... well, but... dang. See, now I'm like, should I Google things? I can't fully remember. What I just said might be true to a point, but it may be one of those things where if I'm under a certain amount of mass, it doesn't matter anyway. I can't remember. Huh. Dang. Oh, let me open my hat. Okay. Let's just do this. I think it'll be fine. So, do that. We will come on. We'll run these pipes kind of up and along. And I'm probably going to spend some time beautifying this. But for now, I kind of want to make sure I have everything internally that I'm going to need to make it work. And then we can kind of clad it on the outside later. Okay. So we've got hydrogen, got our thruster, we've got our jump drive. pipes wrapping around so we can get around the jump drive. One thing that we will need, one of the big things is power. And I'm debating, so I could just strap some nuclear reactors on, stuff them full of uranium, and go from there. And that would work fine. But I'm debating if that's too easy. I feel like it could be more fun if the entire ship is hydrogen fueled. And therefore I use hydrogen engines. I've got an idea. I'm going to set up a little test bed over here. So, let's lay this on the ground. And so I need that. And I'll need one of these. I'm curious to see how many hydrogen engines are needed to power a jump drive and recharge it. Because the main power I'm going to need, if I use all hydrogen on this thing, hydrogen thrust takes little to no power. Any lights and onboard survival stuff will take little to no power. But the jump drive will suck up a ton of power. So let's see. I think it's that way. And that way. And figure out how I control things. Spawn in as much ice as I can into the generator. Okay. And I'll need a battery on board just to kick off the whole process. There we go. Okay. Fully recharged in 50 minutes with 2 hydrogen engines. Let's see. They're not working at maximum output. Huh. It's because they have very little hydrogen fuel. Okay. Let's adjust our test. Welp. Oh no. How much ice is this? Okay, not bad. For a second I thought I was going to have to bail 9,000 kilograms of ice. Dang it. And you. I'll take that back. Okay. New test plan. If I have, let's... No. Don't mute myself. I guess I'm already muted, but... I don't want to accidentally do something else incorrect. Let's... Okay. So... Oh, that's fine. One thing I'm probably going to want on the rocket is a, maybe a couple O2H2 generators on it as well. In fact, maybe let's go ahead with these arms instead of arms. We'll run them through these. That way, once I leave Earth, I'll have the ability to refuel. Though I am debating, is that cheating as well? I think it would be. Okay, so new rule. Scratch that. Oh, sorry, ice. New rule I've just imposed on myself. I cannot refuel the ship once I leave. Everything, I can do whatever I want in creative mode to get resources here at the base. But once I'm off in space, I have to be self-sufficient. I can only use what I've carried with me. This is no fun. Yeah. Oh, and it's just gonna be just enough. Okay, the rock didn't fall down. I really could just ignore this, I guess. Though, no, because then there's a rock sitting where I'm building a rocket. That's not very handy. Okay. Dang it. You can go there. I don't even know where that cargo container is. So, okay. So at that, oh wow. That jump drive is quite speedy when it's charged off the base. So, I've got my little wind farm, and basically under that are just a ton of batteries, so that makes some sense. In fact, let's... Do I have a... Yeah, I've got a seat on the base. Got a ton of seat. Oh, I forgot. I didn't even drive over to... Okay. We're gonna start over. Pretend you didn't watch that first 44 minutes of stream. La-di-da. Oh, I've spawned in. Look at this place I'm in. I'm gonna walk down here. Ah, yes. The lobby. Let's just pop a squat and rest our weary bones. Okay, so 18 days of power. That's good. La-di-da. Walking out. Time to get to work. Hop in my car. Take off the parking brake. Turn on the car. Nope. Turn on the car. Drive down the little road I painstakingly painted. Oh, look, someone already built half a rocket. That's handy. I'll just park here. Okay. I had a whole plan for how I was going to start everything off and didn't do it. So, because I forgot about it when I started. Okay. So anyway. Time for science again. Already got them here. And just stick these 4 bad boys on. The reason I added the tank to this rig is so, I think with the tank, it will allow the engines to kind of stockpile more fuel and hopefully run at full power to charge the drive. So, let's spawn in our ice. Shift F10. Spawn in. And spawn in. Okay. Oh, and then... Quick little battery to spark everything off. Because it should... Yeah, so... Oh, I'm a doof. I just remembered. So, maximum input for this is 32 megawatts. Each engine has a max output of 5 megawatts. So if I have 6 engines, How much does a battery give? What is your maximum output? 12. Oh, okay, so actually, if I have 4 engines and a large battery, that's enough for the maximum input of the thing. So let's put that on there. Fully recharged in 7 minutes. Okay. Sweet. So that's, I think, the plan then. We'll have 4 hydrogen engines with a battery. That'll be our power source. We'll just leave this to do its thing here. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. So, let's go ahead. Do there. Battery right there. And I'm gonna stick these up like that. Okay. Oh, and while we're here, this will be the perfect place to have our gyros. So, which obviously will be needed for steering and angling the ship, which is going to be very important because the thruster, that's going to be how we stop as well as go. That little thrust down there. Ooh, I am thinking. That's going to be one thing I have to test. I don't know if this thruster alone will get us off the ground. Ooh, I may have to build us some boosters anyway. Okay. Well, we've got that. We've got our hydrogen engines. Power. Let's set this battery to recharge. And we'll set the hydrogen engines. Set them off. That way everything on this can stockpile and build up its full kind of, full fuelness before we set off. How long will this battery take? Nope. 10 minutes. Okay. That shouldn't be bad. That's fine. Okay. So I've got a bunch of fuel. Got thrust. We've got our sort of power. Kind of, I don't know. We've got the bits that we need. Are there any other... Oh! There is... Oh, that's a small hydrogen tank. So, one of the most important parts to space flight, particularly manned space flight, is keeping the occupants breathing. So, we'll add in a little oxygen tank. And that should... Yeah, it should fill up and... because we're on Earth, and I have... If I go over here... This is actually, you can see, sucking in atmosphere. So it's being used to pressurize all the other buildings and whatnot. This will fill up in no time, as we see. Water. Yeah, it's nearly full already. Okay. Is there anything else? I've got these two little side holes that look perfect for things. Well, maybe I just leave them empty for now. That could become something if I determine I need extra stuff about. But now it's time. Oh, time for the final step, and the tower may be a little short to deal with it. Up here, I need to build my capsule, which, among the various things, I should have a port there with a vent. Or actually, no port. We will just put a vent in. That way I can pressurize the area from the oxygen here. On this side, I could put either a med bay or maybe what I do, if the idea here is this is me going to a new planet to start like a colony there or something, it may make more sense to have the survival kit. Yeah, and then on this side, this is something I enjoy doing. So this grate is not airtight. So the vent, you can now walk over it. You can see it in there. But air will still flow out, and it means this area is useful. I can still access all that. So yeah. And one important thing you may be noticing, I'm going to do the walls when I do the kind of outer shelling. So there are no walls yet, but that is somewhat intentional. So go ahead here. This will be the main airlock. So when we're inside, we'll be able to heal ourselves, spawn here. We can also do basic production up here. And then, without depressurizing the living area, we'll be able to leave. And I'll probably put a ladder along the outside. In practice, it'll probably just be jetpack up and down, but ladder will be important just in case. Okay. So that's that. Guess the only things left... Oh, I could do... How will this... Dang. Fortunately... So if I have this cryopod, I'd need the tube to come up here. Yeah, and there's no hole on the bottom. So the cryopod would have to live there-ish. Which doesn't really... You wouldn't really be able to get out of it. And if I want it this way, it would live there, which has many other problems. And upside down doesn't really look any sort of good in this. Well, here's an idea. So if we place it upside down, then I'll accept. There's a very tight space to try and play with in terms of making something that feels reasonably livable, but also fits the form factor and isn't, you know, overzealous. Is that? So from there, hop in, let you get up here. The ladder makes it make sense. And one thing I don't plan on doing, I'm not going to have a gravity generator on board. Just because it's not really all that useful. And I think with that, we're just going to get rid of that thing. I don't think... It doesn't fit very eloquently. Oh, I'm a doofus. I know how to solve this problem. Bed. I forgot, we have DLC. So now I can have a bed there. And then, because it's always important, there we are. Have a toilet. Okay. So, that'll be the little interior space. And maybe what I'll do is have windows kind of each end here of this hallway. So that'll add a little bit more room and kind of, you know, it'll look nice. So that'll be good. Because this window will be probably blocked up by the siding. Okay. So that's looking good. Now, the last thing I need is not one of those. And this may... Yeah, so I'm thinking we'll have our control seat there. And then what I'm probably going to do is have another control seat. Well, I can't really show it, but one block above here, up, facing this direction. That way, sorry, another burpy burp. So, my plan for this, why I'm doing two seats. This one, this is level with how I want to land. Basically as a big tall tower. So from here, I'll be able to use the flight controls as they reasonably make sense to sort of hover and fly, you know, in landing mode. What I can do with the facing up cockpit, that will be my launch cockpit. In fact, I may place a... Can I place a block on this? No. Once I build... Actually... Well, I can't place one there. So I'll place our other block there. That way I can easily reach both. So that'll be the takeoff cockpit and space flight. So I can fly with my main thruster forward. Then when I want to land, I just hop out of that one, switch into this, and then I'll be able to better orient myself to landing mode. So yeah. I guess let's go ahead. Oh, another important thing. I'm going to need a little bit of sideways thrust just so I can navigate. Let's put it up on this one. Yeah. So that'll be my left-right thrust that I can use to maneuver, all the other directions. And should I even have a reverse thrust? I may. So if I do, I'd want it at the very kind of point of the nose, which would be here. Which isn't going to work very well because I also want to be able to have a window. Though, maybe not, because the downside with a window, and it's a purely cosmetic downside. So there are the quote-unquote new blocks that we have, these and then a couple more in the normal, that give the ability to have much more complex curves. I don't want to use glass because the glass does not have those. The glass is still very limited. And if I have what I'd want is like a sweeping large window up there, that will limit the shape I can do of the dome, of the nose cone. So, which I don't know if that actually, I think it does affect stuff with the aerodynamics mod. Because I think it measures heat based on, like, the direction you're hitting it. I don't think actual aerodynamic, like pointing it versus domed versus whatnot, I don't think that changes much. But having a small area basically being front, I think does, it's basically less to get hot, so it doesn't get hot as quick. If that makes sense. I think that's how it's calculated. So, okay. So I think what I'll do is not have a window, build the rest of it, and go from there. So, go ahead and do that. That. Whoops. That's not quite what I want to do. Oh, and actually, if I want my windows over here, oh, put that one there, that one there. So it's this nice kind of long hallway. You'll be able to look out and see the ground below. Yeah. So what I'm thinking for the rest of the body, gonna get myself my other shapes. So this is something I've done. I'll determine if I want to leave this. I may work a way into making this look like something, but for now, I'll do something I've done a bit before, which is basically, oh, there we go. Nope. I'll make a sort of curved tube. Well, I'll show here. So, this is something, it's actually, the new blocks don't really come into play for this. You can't really bring it to a end without them, but for this actual curve, it's basically it would be the same as using the two... Yeah, that's fine. It would be the same kind of curve as using the full light armor slope, like the 2 long, a 1x1 slope, and then another 2 slope. But this fits into a 5x5 area. And it's about as close as Space Engineers lets us get to a true curve. Like, you know, a true curve that has any room, because there's obviously this rounded slope, but that corner just creates a square. You can't put anything in it. So, that's a fun little trick. There we are. Fun little trick. I like to do it. I've used it several times on things to make sort of engine nacelles or engine pods. Because I think it has a very... It has like an industrial tanky type of look. That curve. It's like a big silo. And at this scale, it perfectly fits hydrogen stuff. So if you're making like a hydrogen engine booster, it just, you know, everything fits perfectly. I'll drop you down again. Okay, oh, that, okay, that's fine. Down, and so that's that. Now, I'm kind of thinking, because I could just cover this up with something, make it go away. I could put like little winglety things, which actually maybe wouldn't look too bad. Like a little... little bit of that action. That could be something. But let's see. That may be the fallback. I'm gonna see if I can make it work. Oh, actually, I may not be able to. My thinking was to have this area kind of be flat on this side, or even, you know, make use of those to kind of highlight this tube. You know, like, give a little bit more of an industrial feel. There's piping and stuff visible. I was gonna have a, you know, area like that. Unfortunately, there's not a block, even with the new blocks, there's nothing that fills this gap correctly, if I'm right. There's this, which sorta fills it, but there's a bump here, and there's a divot here. It just looks kind of off. Could sort of make it work with one of those. It's not atrocious. Let's try... I mean, that's too big. Yeah, that doesn't really fit. I don't think there's anything with these. No. Yeah, unfortunately, these little guys... and sorta... not really. Yeah, so unfortunately, even with these fancy new blocks we have, there's not really a ton of room for super complex geometry. It's still rather limited. So I think what I may do then, we'll go with the other plan have little winglets. I'll see if I can do them any better than just, you know, a big thick block coming out.
Fuel critical.
I don't know if I can. Yeah, that might be... If I use one of these... That kind of has an interesting shape to it. As long as you ignore this angle. What if I make it thinner? Oh. Goodbye, sun. I guess we'll be probably doing a night launch. Or I can just move the sun later. But, okay, so sideways. No, sideways. I don't know why I said that word. Half-sized. It doesn't look too bad. And I wonder... Now from here... Again, I don't think there's a shape that really would help here. Could use one of those with that to kind of make it, you know, like bulge out the side normally. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, I can totally do that. Oh, except, dang. So the thought I had, so with that there, if I mirrored it here, I would be able to stick one of these right here and basically create like a wide middle area for the entire ship. But I don't want to do that here because I want my ladder going down here. I don't want to have to deal with a weird little like ladder. Then you have this really steep slope, and then I can't even place a ladder at this width. So that's not ideal. But maybe that... Let's see how it looks at kind of this thickness all the way. Oh, and the other question is, how will over here work? Dang. Yeah, because even... So with that, what we used up there, you'll have this weird slanty area where it'd make more sense to just have another that. But I do like having this a little shorter. There's no... Yeah, no, that'll leave a bulge there. And that basically the same problem as the last block, just this end is now even thicker. And that would sort of work, except for now there's a divot here. So, yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. We'll just do that. So a little divot. I may put some lights down there. That could be cool. Like have a little... Like have them go from top to bottom blinking or something. That could be fun and gaudy. Okay. So I've got that. Now for the dome. So what I'm thinking, we'll use these. And one of these. Not one of those. One of these. And then with 4 slants, yeah. So that'll be pretty decent nose cone. We won't have a window. I guess we could have one there and you're just basically looking through a tube. In fact, here's an idea. There's the button. Can I can. So I can reach up there. It would allow me to do this at this level. And then maybe like that there. Maybe like that. Yeah. Okay, I like this. So it allows me to have a 2-high roof area. I can still access this seat. I'll be able to see what's directly in front of me. In fact, actually, with it like this, let me finish this ring before I start breaking apart, but I could have... Oh, I could make this whole nose out of glass. Oh, I'm doing that. That's it. That's the look. Okay. So let's finish the rest of the dome so that we can start cutting things apart without breaking them. And then one of these. But yeah, that'll give... Will be like a... Yeah, good at thinking of words. That'll give a much better view around. It'll be interesting actually sitting in the cockpit, because we'll be able to see all around us. So I have to lean away from the microphone to see the rotate keys. But, okay. So now, get rid of that. We could have these be like that. I'll leave these flat. Because in part 1, I can't, have this angle. If I had these all curved, I would want the corner to be curved so they connect, but I can't do that because this block is curved here and they don't exist that way. But, and also this block is holding the seat, and it may look funny if the seat is just dangling off the front. So, but that'll give a little bit, so if I hop in, my view is unobstructed, and if I look over that way, kind of has this nice little angled look. So then from there, let's go ahead. It'll be a real bummer if this thing doesn't work. Like if it just get, well, if it won't work, it won't get off the ground. So I guess that's a benefit at least. Unless, of course, it runs out of fuel in transit and therefore can't land on Mars. Oh, that's something I need. I should put parachutes somewhere. Maybe in those holes? That could work. Oh, except for... Dang. If I put them in the holes, one, I don't have a way to connect to them. I'd have to rework the interior here. Oh! Oh, wait, I see. Okay, that there. That there. If I replace that with a... big conveyor with I'll just do it because it's easy. So if I replace that with this, I can now connect my parachutes up. Oh, I should real quick look at a hole. Is there room in this? No. Let's look at this one. Let's just look in here. So, Shift F10, canvas. Let's say, well, we'll spawn them there and drop them in. Okay, and they've been taken by the chutes. So, now we have 2 parachutes, which should be enough for this thing's weight. They're fairly high up, so when they deploy, it shouldn't, like, flip in a bunch of weird, absurd ways. And it doesn't really modify the look too bad. Okay. So now let's glass. Yeah, I've got all that around. Yep, that's falling to the ground. So glass. Glass, glass. Glass. And finally, the final pane. So now, if I'm right, and this is perfect to test, because it is night, it's cold, but in here is warm, which means we're pressurized. Got a lovely cockpit with a panoramic view of space. We've got a less lovely landing cockpit. Let's go ahead and stick that up there. Less lovely landing cockpit, but... Well, actually, I guess I don't really need those. Yeah. So now we can see from the ground, we'll be able to see out and observe the environment, see up at the sky. We have our landing seat, survival kit, got our lovely bed, lovely toilet. Let's put some lights. Not the big light. Actually, those help just with the ambience, but... Oh, this'll... Oh no, it's good. I was like, oh, this is about to show 50 billion lights. These are all the various lighting groups for the lovely base we have out here. which does look nice at night. Got all the road marking lights, all the building lights, those kind of highlighting the wind turbines going. Lovely place. But okay. Slight, drop that intensity down, boost that radius up. Yeah. Hopefully, yes, deleted. It can be a little bit of a risk sometimes trying to delete things. Like small things like lights. But let's put them one down. That way they aren't blasting the upper cockpit with light. Okay. We'll name this Rocket Interior Lights, and we'll turn them off in the toolbar for now. Oh, I can't see anything because I am basically sitting on the ground. So the third-person camera won't do much. Okay. Well, that's a little spaceship. Last thing that I think I'll do, I'll actually bring it to a point down here at the actual thrust cowling. Yeah, I'd rather do it like this. Then, so a U. Nope, not a U, a U. Oops. And there. 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 And then finally, there. 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 And there. Yeah, I'm liking this. Okay. So last thing. Ooh, and what I may have to do. Okay, we're gonna do something. So we'll turn that on. We are gonna disconnect that, which means it's now solely connected via the connector. Let's climb into planetary flight seat, and we will set up some things real quick first. Whoops, bad idea. Turn that back on. We should have more than enough ice to run this thing for a while. So, okay. What do I need? Oh. What I need to do is name the connector. Which, thanks to the beauty of... Oh, why is it over there? Oh. Not that connector. That connector. Thanks to the beauty of Build Vision, I can rename this here. Okay, so rocket connector. And okay. So this is going to be a bit of a challenge because it's going to be timed. So what I'm about to do, this will be the first test flight. I am about to disconnect us from the base. So 3, 2, 1. Shit. Well, I guess the launch hole helped, because now we're wedged in it. Oh, I know what happened. We don't have any power, because the battery was set to recharge, and all the hydrogen tanks are set to stockpile. Let's turn that off so hydrogen can flow free. Set that to auto, so that the engines can kick on. We'll just leave that there for now. Okay. But minor setbacks. We are flying. And we can fly. This thing can move. So let's bring us down back relatively close. I want just a little bit of height. Because what I'm going to do is add our landing legs. So, down here, I'll add a couple little extrusions. And oh, do I? Well, we'll just have them face this way. Unfortunately, they don't, they aren't symmetrical. So, we'll just have to deal with that. But, now, hop back in real quick. And another thing I can do while I'm doing this is get some stuff set up. Oh, and I can check. Okay. So when we took off, we had just ticked over to 41% hydrogen. Sitting here just hovering, we're burning very little of it. So I think this thing should be efficient enough that it'll be able to make it out of Earth's orbit with the fuel it's got at a full tank and have enough to land back on Mars. We'll find out, but for now it's looking promising. Okay, so let's land. Okay. But so I'm currently, explain as I go. I currently have the inertial dampeners off, which means the ship isn't trying to stay up in the air. But I'm using my thrusters to kind of bounce myself around so I can be right here in position. And now we just relock. Except I don't want to do that yet. So another benefit here is we're burning significantly less hydrogen with the thrusters by just sitting here instead of actually trying to thrust with them. So let's start setting our groups. We have a group for hydrogen engines, so we should disable them in the terminal because we shouldn't need to look at an individual engine. Battery, let's rename you. Battery rocket. Connector rocket. Gyros, we should be able to find to leave on. Okay. Oh no. I was about to name that as the main thruster, but because I'm in the landing orientation cockpit, it's actually the one here. These are my 4 kind of lateral movement thrusters. So, okay. Well, let's landing gear. Did I actually make the group for them? Guess I didn't. Rocket landing gear. Save that. And we don't need to look at them in the terminal. Rocket parachutes. I don't think... Yeah, they've nothing unique, so we don't need them. We don't need those in. Name this. Just in case if one day I decide to build a jump drive on this immobile base that's in the ground, we'll have that. And I just realized, this it's the same almost shape as the tower. In fact, the tower has a little bit more of a rocket shape nose than this. But that's because of the glass. So, that's fun. Okay. So now we should be good for rocket thrusters. And well, we'll just know the large hydrogen is our main thrust. So, from here, let's think out a bit. Actually, we can probably just duplicate the toolbar, because we shouldn't need that many commands. We'll have our emergency deploy over there. We should be able to turn those on and off. We'll need to be able to reset this to recharge on and off. Large hydrogen thrust, I want to do this. That way I can more easily basically set cruise control. So I'll be able to increase the thrust just up to the point to keep us at our maximum velocity. Because Space Engineers has like a limit to velocity. I guess real life does too. And that'll be changed a bit from the general 100 meters per second of vanilla Space Engineers. Because the aerodynamics mod, one, I think it increases the maximum speed of things. So you can go like 150 meters per second maximum. But in atmosphere, it will limit you based on drag. So that's neat. Yeah. And we want jump. Okay, so I think that's everything. Oh. Dang it, no. Okay. So what I'm gonna do then... Okay, I'm gonna specify our hotbars a bit. So this cockpit is mainly gonna be used for landing. So, we really don't need the connector control, but we'll keep it there. We'll want our landing gear, so when we touch down, we can lock to the ground. We'll want to be able to control our thrust. Control this, just in case we want to... Say I want to set it to kind of hover, or do kind of a controlled deceleration burn. That's not just full deceleration, for some reason. And we'll want that for the emergency landing if we need it. Technically, we would want all the other stuff to turn it all off, but whatever. So in this cockpit, we'll mirror some of it. I guess we should mirror all of it, but we'll have more. So we'll have that to be able to switch locks. Have that to switch lock. We'll have this to turn everything on. We'll have that to turn the engines on. Oh, because the engines are off currently. Oh, that's something. We need to be able to set these to stockpile or not. So I want these. Stockpile on off. This is going to basically be my launch control. So this toolbar, it'll be what I'm in when I'm about to take off. I'll make sure everything's on. Make sure it's, everything's on and working. Battery, recharge on off. I think that's all the bits that I need to control. Yeah. So this will be when I'm ready to launch. I'll make sure I'm detached. Make sure everything's on and, ready to roll. And then we'll switch to control bar 2, which will be our flight controls. So from here, we'll set that to increase and decrease thrust. Increase, decrease distance. And jump. Then just in case, we'll have these over here. But, yeah, so from there, so what launch will look like, well, what the whole process will look like. So I'll start off, make sure everything's on and ready. In fact, we can go ahead, lock that, set that back to recharge, turn the thrusters off. And there we go. Camera's super awkward, but you can see we're back on the pad. Thrusters off, everything ready to charge. So, that'll all be good. I need to actually have that on for stockpile on. So all good. Then, once all that's good, I'll switch to control 2. And from here, I can boost my velocity up to however much I need to start going up. We'll go up into space, kind of controlling that to burn as little fuel as possible. Then once we're in space, we'll angle ourselves, look around, figure out where Mars is, and then we'll jump, which we can't do now. But what is my... Okay. So my maximum jump is 2,000 kilometers. I don't know how far Mars is, but that'll hopefully get us pretty close. We'll probably have to make a couple jumps. So that's just the way of the world. So we'll be here kind of doing that for a long while, avoiding asteroids and whatnot. And then, just fill that up. Once we reach Mars, get into the gravity, I will switch cockpits, hop into my landing cockpit here. Then from here, I'll be able to... Basically, I'm just steering and ready to hit the emergency shoot button if things look bad. But... Yeah, so from here I'm basically just hanging on. Then once I land, I'll be able to lock down, turn off the thrusters, and call it a victory. So, when I do that, one thing I want to do, and this will be mildly important, I should have some cargo storage, because, nope, Shift F10. I want to be able to carry some spare of those, and I really don't need much else. Maybe, let's see, cola, data pad. I could bring some, like, drinks and stuff with. Yeah, let's... 50 coffees just to keep myself awake. We won't need tools. We spawn with tools. But, oh wait, I don't want 50 of these. One hydrogen bottle. And nope. That was Shift F11, not Shift F10. One hydrogen bottle. Maybe a couple power kits. These are all, you know, basically useless for my actual mission, because I'm in creative mode. But I like the idea of kind of... I'll make it look like it's the real thing, even if it's not actually functioning like the real thing. So, I do believe I will die of no oxygen. So it is important that I have those. But, you know, I don't need coffee. I shouldn't run out of energy. The parachutes will be important because I may, if I have to deploy the parachutes more than once, they only hold enough for one deployment each. So this should give me, I think it's 5 canvases per parachute to deploy. So this is basically 5 tries. But yeah. It's okay. Let's, while we wait for everything to reload, like fill up and all that, let's do some beautification. Oh. I need my ladder. Dang. Unfortunately, it'll have to stop there because otherwise it'll, just burn through the ladder when this thruster's on. But that's fine. It looks the part. Go ahead. Let's see. I like the idea of having, like, some navigation lights, like you'd have on an airplane. So, this would be, from this cockpit's orientation, that's port. So, there should be red lights. Do I have... Dang. I don't have a terminal. That's... Well... Whatever. I'll just fly up to the door. Okay. So... those will be the port lights. Red. This is a fun little pro tip to do, like, you know, blinking lights and stuff, navigation lights like you'd see on ships or airplanes. You just put a light, set the radius very low and the intensity very high. That way it's as bright as possible, but it's not, you know, coloring half your ship. I like to set the offset to 0, because it makes it appear like the light is in the bulb itself. Especially with the radius so low. But then, so blink length for 50, we'll say 3 seconds. So, as you can see, we now have some flashing red lights on the side. And one nice thing, I don't know at what point, but this was a change because it wasn't like this always. Keen made the actual bulb, basically gave it the ability to have an emissive. Before, it was legitimately like a point light sitting in the middle of this. That's why I do most of those settings with the offset, was to light up as much of the bulb as possible without lighting up the rest of the area. But, thankfully, now they just light up this, so it doesn't really light up the area much, and it looks like the actual bulb is lit, as opposed to, you know, some weird ethereal orb nearby. So, go ahead and duplicate that over here for the starboard navs. We'll just, quickest way. Okay, I called you. It's good to have consistency. So green, same things. 3 seconds, 50%. The only difference, I'm going to set that to be offset. So now, they alternate which one's on. So that's exciting. So it's kind of, they're real pudgy little wings, but it's like we have wingtip lights. I could add like some hull lights out here, except for the ladders in the way. And I mean, you know, wingtip lights on a rocket don't really tend to matter anyway because it's a tube. So the port and starboard are kind of arbitrary. But it adds some fun to it. We used the white from the base, so we might as well use this red. Paint our wings. Like so. Then maybe not that, but I'll fix it later. We'll do this kind of ring. Maybe ring right at the nose, or maybe the full nose. Ow. There and there. Yeah, I'm thinking full nose. Like so. Doesn't look very good. It's like it's wearing a hat. Let's not do this. Honestly, it's very simplistic, but I think that does it. We've got a little red band on the body. We've got the wings. It's just a splash of color. It kind of fits with the rest of the base, which is white with a splash of red. Yeah, I think that works. Okay. We're now painted up. Let's see what we are. I can actually check from here. Well, it'll be easier. Let's see what we're at. 55% hydrogen. Okay. So each tank's about half full. Let's... Oh. And those don't fill up if they're off. Okay, we'll turn those on for now. It's not like we need the fuel from them. They should just fill up their own little internal tanks. Very slowly. But that way, we'll have full fuel on them. Hopefully they won't take any of our thrust fuel, or if they do, it won't be for a while. They have, for those of you who follow this game, they have rebalanced the hydrogen recently as part of the, whatever. What was the update? Oh no, it's left me. The one that's basically Mad Max. Wasteland, the Wasteland update. The one that adds all the cars and fun stuff, and the new blocks. But they rebalanced hydrogen, so it's now much more efficient. It's less realistic, but it's now more useful. Because the problem before, before you couldn't have a hydrogen engine and a hydrogen generator running at the same time, because it would basically just like, there was a weird feedback loop where you'd just burn through all your hydrogen instantly and have no power. It was a weird thing. But that kind of made it so hydrogen-powered vehicles were a waste of time. They're still a little bit of a pain. So, specifically like a hydrogen-powered car or hydrogen-powered rover, the biggest pain is the hydrogen engine. It has to have fuel in it to produce power. So, if you run out of fuel, you can't restart the engine. You can't, there's no way to put more hydrogen into it without having power. There's no way, you can't, shove a hydrogen bottle into the engine to refill it, which I think you should be able to, but whatever. You have to refill it by putting ice in a hydrogen generator or connecting to a tank of hydrogen and refill it that way. Which means you have to have the power to run the hydrogen generator or to run a connector to connect it to a tank. It's a bit of a hassle, so which kind of makes it less viable. But it's now more viable because you don't burn through hydrogen near as fast, so it's a little bit easier to do things and get use out of the vehicle without running it out of fuel. So, another long-winded explanation of physics from your friendly neighborhood Scott. Where are we? Oh, they've stopped filling while these fill. They are on stockpile. Okay. Well, while that happens, I'm going to go take a quick restroom break. I'll leave you with the lovely sounds of hydrogen engines running. So, be back in a moment. Okay, I am back. Surprise. Oh, sweet. So those are all full. So let's cut those back off. Now these continue to fill. Okay. While that happens, let's have some of that. Head on out. I am going to work up a plane. So these things should all still be, yeah, chock full of ice. Probably working. Is that number going down? Yes. So these are producing fuel. So that's good. Let's... Ooh, I have a fun idea. I'm gonna real quick build a... Well, that's kind of a waste, isn't it? I was like, I'll build a little vehicle. So I want to show off. I made this lovely little mechanism. So... Nope, that's locked. Basically, so it's easier to connect vehicles, especially vehicles that could be at different heights. I have this, which very slowly raises the connector up and down. It's all piped so that it can carry large connector goods. So it can carry anything. And, whoops, and lock in place. So say this is the height of your connector. I have an idea. This bad boy have a connector on the back? No. It's got a connector down there. Does anything I own have a connector at the back? Oh, one of the old things, probably. These... Yeah, quickest is gonna be... you, I bet. Yep. Okay. So, truck. Whoop. Handbrake was not on. I can reverse this up. Try and get the camera to behave. See, it needs to be a little bit higher. And also I'm a mile off, but that's on me. Actually, it's fine. But it wouldn't have been fine when it was half in the ground. And it could be finer. So, well, fallen in a pit. So, if I do that, boom, and now it's locked. And if you had a large grid vehicle, it can go, I think it can go all the way straight. Or maybe a little bit higher. Up. Yeah, so if you had like a large grid vehicle that you were using for cargo, this can go way up high here to connect to that. So, just a little fun thing. My thinking was I would build a very long truck made out of O2H2 generators, connect it up to there and fill it with ice. That seems kind of silly though. I think what I will do instead is try and figure out where's a good, probably off here. We will just momentarily slap a whole bunch of generators on here. And a big ugly line. These should all be able to pull ice from the cargo container. Yeah. So they will get to converting fuel to fill this bad boy up even quicker. So let's see where we are now. 60%. Yep. It does seem to be going up quicker. Well.
Fuel critical.
Yeah, I know. Let's have some more. Then go in here and spawn another infinite load of ice into the thingy. Whoops. I need to spawn into container, not spawn a giant ice mountain into the world. Okay. Plenty of ice. So now, peek at our hydrogen situation. Oh, look at that go now. We're cooking. So, I could probably have set off at 50% full and made it with room to spare. This is a ton of hydrogen. Given it takes so little for this rocket to take off, like so little thrust, I really don't need this much fuel. This is total overkill. But it's funny. That's a lovely view. Guess one thing we could do while we wait. That looks good. I can kind of go around a bit of this. Explore. Well, so I'm debating. There's not really too much to this little base. We'll go out here. I've obviously added a bit more to it there. But it's kind of just, you know, it's a little plane in the ground. I built this little hangar area. You know, not super useful, but fit something in here, build a little car or something, or a ship. It's got this little production factory building that has kind of, you know, basically all the basics. This kind of tower, which I have. My idea was this is a sort of, you know, NASA-esque launch complex. So you've got the kind of production building here and kind of made it look a little bit like a power plant maybe or something. Got the big hangar for building things. This over here, the kind of power station. You know, not super NASA, I guess, but space engineer style NASA. You'd have to have a little power section. And then this tower here is kind of the, you know, offices and kind of habitation. You can see kind of, you know, chairs and desks and things in there. So, then of course the launch pad with the little launch gantry and its giant wall of fuel generators. So, ooh, we are close. Okay. Actually, I think I'll want to get rid of that before we go. But let that fill up. Finish what it's doing, and then we're ready to roll. Will be time to launch. See if we survive. So, oh, what I should do. Momentarily vent some air, but air doesn't really matter here. In fact, it may not because it's warm and high pressure here. So, are we ready? Those tanks are filled. Engines are off.
Fuel
Let's do a final check here. Okay. So, engines are off, or thrusters are off, engines are off, tanks are stockpiling, and batteries recharging. So, if I disconnect right now, this grid should lose all power, turn off, and just sit here on the pad. In fact, just to make sure, I'll lock those and disconnect. Okay.
fuel critical.
So, I did that so that, oh no. Oh my god! So I did that so I can move this away and kind of have the whole, you know, have everything clear and ready. So when we launch, it's just time to launch. Which is happening now. So we'll ignore the mess I've made. Climb back in. I don't think... Okay. So final thinking. So I've got parachutes and they're set up so I can deploy them if I need them. I've got thrust for launch. I've got my directional thrust. I don't have reversing thrust because as a rocket I shouldn't need it. Let's see. I've got landing gear. I've got a jump drive. I've got a battery. I've got gyroscopes. I've got engines, and the engines are full of fuel, so they should last a bit on their own before they have to tap into my thruster supply. I've got an O2 tank with a vent, so I'll be able to breathe in here. I've got the survival kit, which I'll be able to respawn at if I die for some funny reason, or, you know, conceptually start my colony on Mars once I get there. I've got the cargo container with some spare stuff in it, spare parachutes and whatnot. I've got everything set up on my landing hotbar to be able to control that.
Critical.
Everything on my flight hotbar, and everything on my takeoff. Okay.
Fuel critical.
Well, without further ado, I think we're about ready to roll. Okay. So let's turn on battery.
Fuel critical.
We'll use that to close this real quick. When I take off, I'm actually gonna turn the battery back to recharge, and it'll be our kind of emergency power for if we run out of hydrogen completely and can't power the ship normally. But oh, actually no, because I want it on for the jump drive. So we'll just leave it on, whatever. Okay. So, thrusters on. Inertial dampeners on. Engines starting. Let's hear that Hemi diesel rocket roar to life. Okay, and finally, fuel tanks off stockpile. We are now set. God, that looks like a mess out there. We're now set and ready to fly. Okay. Final thing, unlocking from the ground. And we are sitting stable. Okay. Well. Without further ado, it's time to blow this popsicle stand. So, in 3, 2, 1, we start our acceleration. Goodbye, base. Oh, real quick. Whoops, I've opened my helmet. GPS. Okay. We'll leave that here. Eventually, we'll lose the radio signal from the base. But that GPS will be able to see how far we've come once we reach Mars. So... Oh, one thing I didn't take in. So normal space engineers, you can set it to be a certain velocity. Basically, you just set your thrust until you go up, and that's it, because you accelerate forever. I forgot there's drag here. So I do want full burn, at least until I'm out of the atmosphere. So that I can so I can accelerate as much as I can through the atmosphere. So we'll just go full burn until... basically until we hit maximum speed. Let's check some things. Okay. Hydrogen engines are not using any fuel whatsoever. So all my power is coming from the battery, which makes sense because... Oh, and the battery is switching. We're using basically no electricity. Tanks are at about 98.5. But we have started to drop gravity, so we are leaving. We are making it. Let's look through our viewport. One thing I forgot to do. It was nice we got a daytime launch. I forgot to mention how lovely that was. But I did forget to try and look. Oh, wait, there it is. Mars sighted. It's so close. Okay. Now that we're up, let's start our angling towards Mars. We are technically flying upside down right now. And we will be burning a bit more fuel because, as you can see, we're now fighting gravity that direction a bit. But we should continue to fly. We're still accelerating. In fact, let's make this a little bit more notable. Aha. Can I... Oh, I can't see it out my viewfinder yet. But... Okay, are we still breaking gravity? We're still going up, so that's an important thing. Let me real quick. Whoops. That's the wrong button. I want to roll us. Even though, again, it doesn't really matter. Now, at least it feels like we're the right way up. Look at our lovely planet below. On our slightly doofy looking rocket flying through the sky. Okay. Now I'm thinking, because unfortunately, Space Engineers doesn't really have, there's no gravity. I guess there's a bit of gravity assist. If we got going fast enough, we could basically be orbiting. But 129 meters per second is not fast enough. I don't know how high it is, but... and I do need to keep the thrusters on to keep at that. Dang. But... yeah, so there's not really much point in staying in gravity, because it just means we're burning more fuel to stay here. So I think I'm just gonna keep going up. We're kind of... at the angle we are to Mars, it looks like that will, yeah, if we leave Earth's gravity, we shouldn't have to come back through it to get to Mars. So, from here, it should be good. We just leave the gravity, and we should be able to point down and be well on our way. Give that jump drive a blast, and hopefully be there soon. So, I'm trying to think... I don't know if I've ever done this. Like, actually, you know, flown from the surface of a planet going to another planet's surface in the game. It's definitely something I want to do more of, in my more sort of normal Space Engineers series, and, you know, maybe in some other creative things, but, I don't know, it just doesn't really come up very often, I guess. Not super useful most of the time. So, most of what I do in this game is honestly build things that I then publish on the workshop. And you saw if I hit... where are we? Yeah, still in gravity. So, saw if I hit F10, my series of things, this is actually... I mean, there's a whole long list of stuff I have published. There was a bunch of stuff that I no longer have because I re-updated Windows and, long story short, didn't save over my blueprints and back them up like I thought I should. But, you know. Most stuff of interest was on the workshop anyway. Ooh, can see some asteroids. Can I drop... no, I still lose speed if I turn off my thrust. I wonder, because we should be well out of any I mean, we're plenty out of atmosphere. I think this, the aerodynamics mod may make use, and maybe that's how they do the aerodynamics. They may make use of another mod that I think was called, yeah, it's the relative velocity mod, or relative speed mod. Can't remember which, but basically what it does is it calculates the amount of maximum, like the amount of thrust your ship has, and uses that to determine its maximum speed. So, in normal vanilla Space Engineers, you can go maximum of 100 meters per second, and it's just get there. The only kind of difference is... the only difference of having more or less thrust is how fast you get there. So, basically just acceleration up to that point. Which works for most stuff, and it's okay, but the relative velocity mod, it makes it so that your ship actually calculates... it's not realistic necessarily, but it adds a bit more of a gameplay to, like, if I have a light ship with a bunch of engines, I'll be super fast, versus a big heavy ship with a few engines. You know. It adds that in, so there's a bit more of a reason to actually design ships with more or less thrust. Oh, we're in space. I don't know how long we've been there, but let's go ahead. We can see it on our screen. There's Mars. Go ahead and point at it. Turn off the velocity. Oh, no. Let's see with thrust disabled how fast we go. Okay, 109. So that's, I think, the absolute maximum in vanilla. Which I think only the player can reach. Because the player is weirdly super thrusty. But, okay. Realign on target a bit. Thrust up a bit just so we have that. So, that's fine. We could go faster. And honestly, we have enough fuel that we could go as fast as possible if we really want to. But, let's see how far this jump drive takes us. So, we're aligned on Mars. Oh. Okay, that's a good sign. This'll take us right to the edge. Ah, this is... I didn't realize it was so easy to just go to Mars. Oh. Not yet. Let's see. Okay. This is why I have the range adjustment, so I can kind of dial it in. Yes. Okay. Here we go. Hello, Mars. Okay. Yeah, I was worried we were going to be sitting here for like, another half hour. Ooh. So now, I'm curious. Yeah, it's a little funny in here. 100% of our power is being used to turn that jump drive back full. But let's just turn you off, because we don't need you. Yeah, so we've got a ton of fuel. Let's just gun it. That jump drive did a lot better than I thought. So, trying to avoid that asteroid. Turn inertia dampening back on, because might as well. Actually, if we're gonna be smart settlers, let's aim for that ice. That seems like a good new home. Plenty of fuel, so we can fill back up and go home again. Maybe that's the next stream. Next time I have to try and figure out how to set OBS to stream things at half good quality. So, another fun test that we're going to have to do, that I'll have to do. So, one of my main changes for the video was setting the quality to be higher, the quality higher in the recording. But that also increases the file size, and it increased it to where a 2-hour video and a 10-minute video were about comparable size-wise. So, how long have I been going? 2.5 hours, roughly. So, this will probably be like a 2-hour, 45-minute stream. It'll be real interesting to see how massive that is. I don't think it tells me anywhere on my system, but yeah, no info as of yet. Oh, look at that, I got an achievement. Oh, probably for going from one planet to another. So I haven't done it before. I have proof of that now. So, okay, we're in the gravity well. Let's go ahead. Yeah, so I have my thrust control in my other seat here. So, right now we're heading head first at Mars. What'll happen Let's turn off inertia dampening, turn this off, and see how fast I fall. Okay. So that's good. We'll go ahead. Let's just go ahead and position ourselves in rotation now. We should be good. Though I don't think we're landing near the ice. But I can adjust that. So now it's like we're playing, oh, what's that? Lunar Lander. I don't know if that was the real name, or I think as a kid I always played like a Flash knockoff version of it. But I remember always having a good time trying and usually failing to land, which is what we're doing here now. Essentially. Though, that game you didn't have automatic retro thrust like you do here, so life's a little easier for the old space engineer. So yeah. I mean, at this point, it's basically just, slowly plummet to Earth, or Mars. And once we get close, you know, probably within, I'd say 5. Well, let's test it at 5. So at 5 kilometers, we will, turn on retro thrust and see what happens. Oh, though maybe I'll have to be... We'll monitor the heat, because once I start heating up, I need to start slowing down so as not to burn up on entry. So, scratch everything I said before. That's how normal engineers do it when there's no air in the way. What we're going to have to do is play it a little more by ear. Let's kill some of that forward momentum. Yeah. Also, most people flying spaceships don't have the convenience of a fully rotatable third-person camera. Makes it much easier. If I did... Yeah, if I was doing it, I could actually do everything off of this. It's got, you know, my level and my altitude above the Earth. I don't know if I'm brave enough. Well, it's... I mean, it's not a very exciting video to watch. It's just me staring at a screen, inside of another screen I'm staring at. But, something. Okay. So, I may have been saying it before and got hopelessly distracted again. Oh, we are decelerating, though. We've hit some atmospheric buffer. Yep, and there goes the heat. Mars should have a thinner atmosphere, so in theory, I shouldn't heat up as quickly. Granted, it also means by nature you wouldn't slow down as quickly. From the look of things, I don't know if that's the case. Because I am well outside of that little circly area, that haze down there, which would be the atmosphere. Well outside of that. And I think I'm getting close to terminal velocity from the other end, so I'm slowing into terminal. Maybe I should have put down thrust on this so we could get to the ground faster. I didn't think I'd have that issue, but, you know. Ooh. You know, this ground is also... That might be a use for the 88% fuel we have left, is, finding a good spot to land, because that, frankly, looks a little bumpy. Huh. Yeah, that's funny. Here I thought this was going to be a challenge. Basically, most of the stream was me building a rocket. Then, when it was time to go, I shot up through Earth's atmosphere with no problems. As soon as I left gravity, I was able to just warp from one planet to the other. And I've basically hit terminal velocity coming down with absolutely no heat side effects. So that's handy. 2 kilometers up. I'm thinking at 1 kilometer up at the speed I'm going, we'll fire the thrusters and see what happens. So, here, now. Yeah, I stopped in 100 meters. This thing stops faster than a train. Okay. Well, that was boring. Let's go over here and find somewhere better to park. That looks flattish. We're right up there. We can build our settlements inside these craters. And this isn't quite what I intended when I said having maneuvering thrust, but hey. That looks roughly flat. Go over here a bit. Or maybe not. And touchdown. Okay. Oh, and I can see my house from here. Look at that. Well, we're gonna look away from that. Ignore that. That was nothing. Ah! Oh, my helmet's open. I almost killed myself in the Martian atmosphere. Whoop-de. Okay. Well, that's Mars. Let's maneuver over here where I can get a good screenshot. I'd love to get Earth. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do it, am I? I want to get Earth up there. Maybe if I do really cockeyed angle? Does that look any good? I want to get the rocket more in frame. Dang. Okay. Best option, we'll move to another spot on the planet. Which we totally could do. That looks okay. We'll go with that. And I can just leave it here because, you know, I'll just clip it out of the video later. But, yeah, so we did it. We made it to Mars. Quick and easy. I have an idea. we will create. Make it out of this so it's sturdy. Need to have our little flag. So, make that black. Coming out like so. Why? Oh, because I can't place that into ground. Okay. That'll do. Gonna be a little bit crooked, but that's fine. And make the flag red. There we go. It's like a T at golf. Nice view of everything. I don't have to, I almost hit the screenshot button, but I'm like, no, I don't have to do that. We're done. Okay. So, with that, I mean, the main goal is to see if I can produce something of any sort of reasonable visual quality, which I think is a solid meh. Meh to eh. That's where we are. We did the technical mission of go to Mars, built a neat little rocket. I may upload the rocket to the workshop. I'll hang on to it at least. But, yeah. Thank you all for watching this impromptu little stream. So, I'll see for more regularly scheduled programming. It's upcoming Wednesday and Saturday, and then most Wednesdays and Saturdays beyond that, probably. So until then, thank you for watching. I will see you then. Goodbye. Then I did the whole outro thing, like, haha, I'm ready, I got one now. And I forgot to hit any of the buttons. So, now is the real outro. Goodbye.